So far we have proved the following. 1. Existence, life as we know from a scientific standpoint, it's amazing. We are the only one capable, as we know so far, to explore, discover, and ask ourselves questions about our existence. 2. We, human beings, are created by the environment. The brain has no mechanism to distinguish between what is relevant or not, so, the environment we grew in is crucial. 3. The environment in which we grew, monetary system, is a belief system, based heavily on imagination. A system that is obsolete, non-progressive, and harmful for a human being. 4. We found that this environment could change from tomorrow, an efficient, progressive, and extremely well-organized one, the Venus Project. It may change from tomorrow, because there is technology, and the human being is motivated by the purpose of work, so nothing can stay in our way. And then, if the 4 points are true, why nothing happens? Human beings are living into an extremely harmful present and, although aware of this, they don't change anything. If human beings realize that the present system is harmful for them, and solutions exist, why they do nothing for change? If everything happens in our brain, and a decision, as the adoption of another system, is a simple process, then how that is not happening? To form an idea, let's point out some very important facts. 1. Lack of information. When you do not know that technology is capable of creating another system, when you do not know how a human being works, what reality is, what existence is, when you are not informed, you cannot find solutions rather than the limited information you were exposed to. If you do not analyze your current status, monetary system, how it works, to get an idea about you and the environment, through your own analysis supported by science, then, you will not be able to understand rather than the limited information you have. 2. The learning mode of a human being. In the documentary The Human Ape has done an analysis between chimpanzees and humans, and one of the discoveries was that Chimpanzees learn just by looking at adults, not learning the moves, but basically obtain the result, while human beings tend to copy the teacher's behavior.
Do we have any mental skills which are uniquely our own? A key clue comes from a new experiment. Back at the University of Texas, Victoria Horner shows a chimp how to operate a puzzle box to get a treat. First she taps, then she slots. Next, she pokes. The chimp copies fairly well and gets the sweet.
This game we're going to play is about the special box I brought, all right? There's a gummy bear. It's your turn.
Children copy the actions much as the chimps did.
Look, you got him. All right, there's a gummy bear. Good job.
The second box that I showed the chimpanzees is this one, and it's identical to the opaque box, except that it's made out of material which is see-through.
Only now is it obvious that the tapping and poking don't achieve a thing. The box has a false ceiling. The chimps cut to the chase. They skip the needless steps. For the apes, it is all about the treat.
What this study shows is that apes don't just mindlessly ape. They also understand something more about cause and effect.
We found something quite surprising. The children were predisposed to copy, even when it meant that they were doing something that was really rather silly. So this seems a little like the chimps are outsmarting the kids in this particular study.
There he is. You got him out.
Why do children imitate slavishly?
The root of the children's behavior is the fact that they view me as a grown-up, possibly as a teacher.
That children expect to be taught is a vital difference. While apes can copy, most researchers believe that they do not teach each other.
This is Lake Victoria in Uganda. And this is researcher Victoria Horner. She's developed a simple but brilliant experiment that could explain how we came to be the most successful species on the planet. Strangely, it's because there are some tasks we do worse than chimpanzees.
We present both chimpanzees and children with this box. This is the black box. And it's completely opaque. You can't see the inside of the box. You can't see how it works at all. And inside this, there is a food reward for chimpanzees, or for human children, there's a little sticker.
Horner demonstrates the long sequence of action Jessica must use to get the reward. She reloads the box. It's now Jessica's turn to show she's learned what she's seen. she successfully picks up the complicated sequence of actions and gets her reward. Next, Horner and her boxes make the 15-minute journey to nearby Ngamba Island. Horner demonstrates the movements to Billy. Now it's Billy's turn. Will she copy the actions? Just like Jessica, the chimpanzee copies the actions and gets her reward. But Horner has just been toying with both ape and child. This experiment is not about how apes learn, it's about understanding how humans learn. Back at the school, she swaps the boxes.
We then present them with what we call the clear box. And this one is structurally identical to the black box, but this time all of the walls of the box are made of see-through material. And actually there's a false ceiling which runs right around the top here, so that all the actions to the top are irrelevant. They're pretend nonsense actions. And the sticker, or the food reward, is actually located in this tube at the front.
Jessica can now see that poking the stick in the top is pointless, and yet the only action she needs to do is the last one. But for some reason, Jessica sticks faithfully to what she's learned. Even though she can see that the first actions are unnecessary, she carefully repeats them. Finally, she gets the reward. It's not just Jessica. Horner has tested children around the world, and they all copy her actions. Not one of them takes the shortcut.
What we found was actually rather surprising. We found that the children copied everything that I did, no matter whether they had the black box or the see-through box.
So what will Billy do? She goes straight for the sweet. This isn't unusual. In trials with a dozen chimpanzees, Horner has found that 2 times out of 3, chimpanzees take the shortcut. It's a start towards explaining why humans and apes are so different.
Imitation and copying accurately is a huge part of our development as humans. It's how we learn language, it's how we learn to interact with objects and acquire cultural behaviours and lots of the complex things that we do as humans. And it's a little as if it's a sort of default for us to copy accurately.
So, we have some beings that copy and develop that way, and the person copied is a result of the environment. In this case, the monetary system. Three, obedience. Many scientific studies have shown that human being is obedient in front of the authorities in that state or the group they belong to.
The gentleman in the elevator now is a candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with the white shirt, the lady with the trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality, but little by little, he looks at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall. Now we'll try it once again. Here's the candid subject. Here comes the candid camera staff, 3 of them at least. And this man has apparently been in groups Here's a fella with his hat on in the elevator. First he makes a full turn to the rear, and Charlie closes the door. A moment later, we'll open the door. Everybody's changed positions. Now we'll see if we can use group pressure for some good. Now, in a moment, on Charlie's signal, everybody turns forward. Notice they take off their hats. And now, do you think we could reverse the procedure? Watch.
Four, homeostasis. One of the most important points. Homeostasis, or why beggars are pleased to be beggars, the poor to be poor, mediocre, and winners to be winners. The property of a system, either open or closed, that regulates its internal environment and tends to maintain a stable, constant condition. Human homeostasis refers to the body's ability to physiologically regulate its inner environment, to ensure its stability, in response to fluctuations in the outside environment, and the weather. What does this mean? If for only a few months, you stay at the computer on the internet, your body gets used to it, and will feel uncomfortable when you suddenly have to change this habit, and go every day, for instance, to do sport. If a person has become accustomed to poverty, and a higher amount of money is available to him, he will quickly spend it on whatever grabs, because poverty is the natural state and the body got used to this, and, strange as it may seem, those extra money causes him discomfort, and the body wants to change this state to the previous one. If you become accustomed to idleness, it will be very hard to learn diligence, because it does not feel natural at all. Every time you disturb homeostasis, the body can be disturbed, so that there can occur even physical disorders, such as dizziness, nausea, unpleasant sensations in the stomach, to disturb the digestive system. The situation may occur psychological depression, lack of feel for any activity, laziness and delay involved. You have to take that risk for all this, if you really want to have a different life than the one you have now. If you want to go quickly from what life offers you now to another one, the change will be tough, and that's the price you must pay. What I'll teach you is to bring out the qualities that you fell asleep, and develop your personality, to have the comfort you want, to can have a sex life that you want, the relationship you desire, the lifestyle you want. To get the results you want, you will be fully involved, physically and mentally. What will you learn, and especially what you have to do to get the person who is successful in these aspects of life, will not be a simple walk in the park. Almost certainly, if not the life you want, you will have to disturb homeostasis, but it takes little effort and sweat if you want to achieve in a short time what many do not get in a lifetime. When I had to learn all these things, I didn't felt myself, but I have not given up any moment, because I really wanted to succeed. And believe me, I never felt more myself than now. So, think carefully before you say, I cannot do it because I'm not like that. It's your inside Muppet that is telling you that, because a new idea means a disturbing of homeostasis. And anyone who stops you to do these things is himself a Muppet, besides the Muppet inside you. When you have this personal success, you feel more yourself than when you do not. To have power in the outside world, you need to have inner strength. This means to rely on you, believe in yourself, know that you blame no one but you. To have personal power is to have a real vision on you and the world. To be honest with you, and self-esteem is essential. Whatever you do from now on, put next to that word, respect. If you do not respect yourself, you'll lose before you begin. If you believe that you don't deserve, you'll have nothing. Homeostasis will make you feel comfortable, regardless of your level of comfort, success, or whether you're a happy person or not. If you want to get from what are you now to the person who has everything he wants, will have to endure a temporary state of discomfort until you feel good about being another person. Our body, brain and behavior have an innate tendency to remain in the same state between some very narrow limits, and if those limits are exceeded, it will return between those known limits. And that's a good thing most times. If the body temperature would rise or fall by 10%, you have very big problems. It is the same with blood sugar and many other basic functions of your body. This state of balance, resistance to change, is called homeostasis. From bacteria or frog to a man, family, or large groups of people and whole cultures, homeostasis plays its role, and its laws are valid with mental states and behavior, not just physical. I said how the physical homeostasis work. Mentally, if you are used to watch television 10 hours a day, this is a condition where you feel natural. Everything else is perceived as bad and hard. Body and mind. In groups, family, society, friends, the homeostasis balance are maintained by instructions, laws, penalties, privileges, rules, gifts, favors, signs of approval and affection. A nation is held together by its culture, laws, education, sports, modeling successful people, etc. Thus, homeostasis is the function that helps the survival of things as they are now. The problem is that homeostasis makes things remain the same, even when things don't look very good. Let's say you have a family, bank debt, and feel pretty sick of your life. You work hard to sustain your family, and more than the minimum necessities you cannot afford. Now comes a documentary such as TROM, or heard of this Venus project somehow, a project that can substantially improve your life. You say you want to have such a life, and live in such a way. You have heard that you can help this process by informing people about it, but you still say it's impossible. Although now you know that human behavior is sculpted by the environment, that people are motivated by the purpose of work, money is an invention, and that present technology is capable of producing such a system, you still find it impossible. You're afraid about this system you will associate with New World Order or other conspiracy theories. You're afraid for your family, You're afraid you'll lose your job, and you're continuing with negative scenarios in your mind. You feel small. You cannot find any reason for you to get involved, although not find any real reason why the system could not work. You always say that the way you act now, service and family care, is the most mature, most suitable way to act for such a situation. You finish your desire for that kind of life by calling yourself that, if such a system is possible, others will put into practice. You have apologized and returned again, in the state you were before. Homeostasis does not distinguish between changes for the better and change for the worse. It resists any change. In any state you are now, is considered normal by your physique and psyche. This is the first problem that you encounter. If you are poor, sedentary, without success, physically and mentally broke, depressed for too long, it is considered normal, and any attempt to change will be perceived as a threat to your body and mind. The first step is understanding that it will start when the changeover occurs, to know and fight homeostasis. Be aware of how homeostasis works, and when work for change, do not let it stop you. Expect the physical and mental resistance. When the alarm starts ringing, does not mean that you are sick or dying, or it's impossible, or you're lazy, or that you were wrong by choosing to change. It is an indicator that your life is changing the way you want, the better, through your choices. Do not panic, and do not give back. As I said, you can expect resistance from family, friends, the entourage. Homeostasis applies to social group too. When you start to change, the whole system that you belong begins to change. People will often react negatively, but they don't want your harm. It's just homeostasis, and they will adapt if you persevere. Negotiate with your resistance to change. When the change starts, pay attention to pain, discontent. You have to persevere and to push forward, but be careful not to push too far. At the limit, but aware of you. Do not push forward like crazy. Negotiate with the pain. How do you react when you push the limits? Fear? Psychosomatic? Self-sabotage? Quarrels with others? None of the above. Stay tuned. Negotiate. Develop a support system. The best is to ally with people who have gone through something similar, or maybe even go with you. Homeostasis can easily be noticed in our case, the system change. I mean, if you present the people the Venus Project, a project that will change significant their life, will raise the level of comfort, will not have to obey people for something in return, and they are not even interested in this idea, clearly demonstrates their homeostasis. Again, if it shows to you a system that will change your life drastically, will improve it, and you're not even interested, no matter if this idea is a false idea or not, but if you do not even get interested, then it's your homeostasis inside you. When you do not accept a better change in your life, means that the body is fighting to maintain the current status. Present people, and I'm referring to the most people on planet Earth, are poorly informed because of the monetary system. Tend to copy others' character, and these characters are created by the monetary system itself. Tend to be obedient in front of present normality in the culture that they belong to, which leads to inability of changing the self. All people, because they are human beings, suffer of homeostasis. So, to get from point A. Monetary system. 2. B. The Venus Project should start to inform the world about the Venus Project, and about points 2, 3, and 4, because they represent information too. If you know that you tend to be obedient in front of present normality in the culture you belong to, you are an environment creation, or that you tend to keep your most common condition, even if this condition is harmful to you, you will know what you are facing, and the decisions will come in accordance with this information. I know that this solution, informing the population, seems too simple to be true, but we have shown that solutions for improving the system in the individual's life exist, but they are not put into practice because of the people's ignorance and lack of tangent to reality. If you start to inform people about subjects such as those presented in this documentary and solutions like the Venus Project, you will trigger a chain reaction and people will start to inform others. We are almost 7 billion people on this planet, and for a system like the Venus Project to be applied, we must share the same reality. Otherwise it's like we have 7 billion people living in different worlds, in different realities. Cannot get anything progressive like that. Debate, discuss, be able to improve your information already stored in the brain. This direction has already a solid start by the Zeitgeist movement. Several million people have already heard about the Venus Project, and information began to spread quickly lately. Already 47 countries have organized groups, such as informing groups about such a system based on Earth's resources, and in each such country are several chapters in various cities. The internet allows you to express freely, take advantage of it, but remember, this move towards a society based on the Earth's resources is not a movie, not a play, it's really necessary. Concentrate to understand it.